My name is Saurabh, and welcome to the Logistics Shakti Podcast series. And it's my privilege to welcome Mr. Vikas from FWS. Mr. Vikas, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Saurabh, for inviting me for this podcast. I'd like to say a few words. I'm Vikas Yadav. I'm the promoter director for Future Warehouse Solutions. We are one of the largest family-owned warehousing infrastructure company in the country today. Happy to be a part of this. Thank you.
Thanks. Vikas ji, I know you from ages, and the name Future Warehousing Solutions. How you coined this name, Future Warehousing Solution? What is the
Saurabh, there are two answers to this question. One is an honest one, and one is a answer that is for the audience. When we were growing up, we were always looking at future, 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 and which is why it just so happened that I had, let us decide this as future only. This is the diplomatic answer. But if you were to really ask me, when we were incorporating our first organization, uh, the easiest name available was Future. We were wanting it to be warehousing solution, so we had to prefix it. That's how the name came, and it kind of hung on from there. Yeah.
so nice to hear from you. Vikas ji, just tell me one thing. When we talk about this logistics infrastructure, and you are into building this logistics infrastructure, warehousing, pan India with the space, and how do you think that this will help in developing the economy, uh, creating a good infrastructure for the warehousing space?
See, Saurabh, it's a question which is honestly speaking right now a no-brainer. What is happening is that increasingly it's a global village. Now everybody wants to set up industries everywhere. So any foreign investment that comes into the country or anybody who's wanting to start something, whether it is an Indian organization or an organization coming from outside, you would want to avoid them from making capex infrastructure in land and building. Land any which ways is only getting costlier by the day. So by creating quality infrastructure and then allowing them to save their capex cost and only focus on what they do best is manufacturing, or they do best in terms of production or in terms of distribution, then you are a helping them reduce their initial setup cost, which is बहुत important. And the other thing that you are then doing is you are making sure that whatever they are doing is being done in a quality way where the longevity of the product is taken care of. Otherwise, most importantly, जो मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ, that your time to market, whether it is a manufacturing product or any other product, reduces by almost an year, maybe 2 years as well, in case you lease a property, you lease an infrastructure, or you go and buy and build. So you are actually helping in all possible dimensions, whether it is quick availability to the market, the capex cost, the ease of setting up. So what advantages हैं? You can start very, very early, and you as a manufacturer will focus on what you are doing best, which is manufacturing, rather than bothering about कहाँ land लेनी है, how to get a land use conversion done, how to set up a park, what are the bylaws, what are the guidelines. So इसीलिए having quality infrastructure is a huge, huge, huge advantage. And government is also now incentivizing, and they have identified that putting in quality infrastructure is very, very important to the growth of our nation as a whole.
Okay, thank you. So when you are speaking about quality infrastructure, so in your warehouse, are you taking also the care of the safety measures, because the companies will be coming and taking it on lease, and then what are the safety precautions as per the norms you are taking so that it is completely compliant?
तो सौरभ मैं ना इसके बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग आंसर है, थोड़ा लंबा होगा, बट आई नीड टू
जी
टेल यू दिस. Over the years, all of us have seen all industries, not just warehousing, all industries evolve. Automotive sector, if you speak, it has evolved. You talk about steel manufacturing, everything has evolved. When I started off and had very little gray hair and a lot of black hair, this was almost 20 years back. At that time, we were only looking at godowns. You use the word warehouse. So the journey from godowns to logistics park has been phenomenal. The advantage that I have had is I've had the privilege of traveling around the world. And when I've traveled around the world, I can tell you that today the infrastructure that we produce, and not just for warehousing, infrastructure as a whole that we produce is actually at par with anywhere else in the world. And the biggest advantage is that we are at a fraction of a cost. You were to compare yourself to the European standards, their climatic conditions are a little different. So their uh, coding of safety measures are also related to protection from cold. Whereas our challenges as a country are very varied, but they are mostly against protecting the people working inside any plant or any warehouse against the extreme heat, and then also making sure that the safety precautions when they are working are in place. As I said, from the year when we started, we didn't even used to have warehouses. We used to call them godowns. Now the journey from godowns to godowns, from godowns to warehouse, from warehouse to warehouses, and from warehouses to logistics and industrial park is phenomenal. And if I was to simply answer a specific question on safety measures, right from the people who are handling building, their maintenance, to the people working inside, all possible safety measures from the perspective of fire, from the perspective of environment, from the perspective of their well-being, from the perspective of 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 throughput, and also very importantly environment. Everything are as per international standard. If I was to explain everything in detail, थोड़ा technical भी हो जाएगा. Everybody may or may not enjoy. Plus, also it will be a very elaborate thing. But as I said, people first is a policy that is increasingly being implemented by almost everybody,
Okay.
everywhere. Yeah.
Oh, nice to hear you. So, Vikas ji, one very question, personal question maybe to you. You started from Pataudi and then you expanded the complete horizon to North India and then to other parts of India. So, how you see this transformation and demand in the warehousing infrastructure is increasing? And second question to you, now every companies are asking for green warehouse. So how your company FWS is future, you had add future, so how future is adding to the greener sustainability warehouses?
So this is again a very interesting question. There are two parts you asked. One is how did we evolve as Pataudi, by the way, for everybody's benefit, is in Haryana, more specifically in Gurgaon. From Pataudi, that was our first project to all across the country. Well, the journey has been very simple. Logistics as a subject is still a niche subject handled by a few select individuals and companies. So their growth across the country takes us everywhere else as well. And wherever the customer wants us, we are there, which is why the journey from a single shed to all across the country has happened. Now, the other question you asked was the demand for greener warehouses. Well, our country has had now got green standards and international standards amalgamated into it. But what we are doing differently at FWS is what we would like to talk about a little bit. And this is probably going to be the trend increasingly. What has happened now is that the fabric of our society, thanks to the Blinkits and the Swiggies and the quick commerce deliveries, has changed completely. Nobody's wanting to have even a day's inventory in the kitchen or the fridge, if they were to say it that way. Everybody wants to order immediately and consume immediately. So the landscape of our city is changing. Urban planners, when they decided to create cities in the country, they never envisioned that last mile deliveries will become an integral part. So what we at FWS are doing are increasingly focusing on creating quality green infrastructure inside city. We have just completed one of the largest in-city warehouses, which is at multiple level. This does two things. Number one, it takes care of vertical usage of land in a country like India, where the per square kilometer density is high. We are the most populated country in the world. Land as a subject is getting increasingly under pressure. So the only way, like some other part of the world, maybe for example Japan or Singapore or Hong Kong, is you need to go vertical so that the land usage is more efficient. Understand the cost of construction increases, but the single biggest impact that we are wanting to create is to go vertical, whereas your land usage increases. The green building is a factor of how much land do you consume. If you are able to concentrate more square foot in 2 acres of land, then the pressure on peripheral infrastructure, whether it is road, whether it is power, whether it is sewerage, whether it is parking, automatically then reduces. That is the indirect impact of green buildings by going vertical. The direct impact, if you were to say green building, is obviously in a country which has abundant solar power, the logical step, and I'm not talking about standards now, is all the buildings to go solar. The moment you go solar, you take care of a power requirement, which in effect takes care of multiple things. Similarly, in a green building, as I said, you design the building in a way where the air change cycles are very, very high so that the cooling force, mechanical cooling requirements of the building tends to reduce, and the value and the life of your stock stored inside also increases. So the standards are already there in the industry, and everybody is trying to follow them. But the single impact is energy consumption, which can immediately be taken care of by solar. And in a country like India, where we have abundant solar energy, I think that is the single biggest green impact we can do.
Yes, very nice answer. You have touched upon the solar energy, and of course, I assume that your all warehouses are having those solar panels, and you're
Yeah.
planning to have that.
No planning. We already are IGBC certified, so
Okay.
most of our parks are fulfilling all the green standards that are required.
Okay. One more important question, like with this company like you, FWS, and with this road infrastructure coming up, like KMP or Mumbai Expressway, how this is helping your industry to get boost in terms of getting visibility and accessibility, and companies will come.
Saurabh, it's you are asking a question which the government have been debating for almost years. So it's very difficult to be answering this in a small podcast, but I'll still try and give my 2 cents. What is happening increasingly is the highways are leading on the peripherals of the city. The peripherals of the city are creating big box warehouses. But those big box warehouses now are feeding into the last mile delivery or the dark stores, as we call them, because everybody is now wanting immediate goods to be available to them.
Okay.
So, with this large infrastructure coming up, this large infrastructure is only increasing the speed of delivery from one city to other. So the pressure increasingly is going to shift from the peripherals of the city to inside of the city, because peripherals requirement are not there. Let's say, for example, 10 years from now, 10 years ago, I'm saying, you would not imagine going from Delhi to Lucknow in, let's say, 4 or 5 hours. It would mostly be an overnight trip. What we are now increasingly see is it's the same day delivery, and people are talking about 2 rounds in a day, which means that a large warehouse in Delhi can also cater to a warehouse in Lucknow. You would not need a large warehouse in Lucknow, but you would require smaller dark stores which can fulfill the customer's requirement. So the big infrastructure is going to create mega hubs around big consumption centers. Pardon me. And the big warehouses are also going to create smaller, faster delivery hubs near small cities. That is, to me, going to be the single biggest.
Okay. Thank you, Vikasji, and it was a nice talking to you on the podcast, and really a good insights coming from your end on the logistics infrastructure, road infrastructure, green energy, and thanks to you. And any closing, like if you want to say the closing lines from for this podcast from your end, any message for this Logistics Shakti event?
So I'd like to congratulate the entire organizing committee of the Logistics Shakti event. I think it's been wonderfully organized. Again, congratulations to the entire team. Happy to be a part of it. to the logistics fraternity in general. We guys are making the country move. We guys are the wheels behind the economy. So, congratulations. Please celebrate yourself in the logistics sphere. Many congratulations to all of you. And thank you, Saurabh, for
Thank
having
you.
me on the
Thank you,
podcast.
Vikas ji.